Hey guys, Caitlin here. Here are the upcoming shows for this week. Sean is doing an hour June 8th at the Rec Room in Huntington Beach, California. I am doing my hour Death Wish on June 6th at the Broadwater, the studio, for the Hollywood Fringe. I'm also going to be doing the hour for the Hollywood Fringe scattered throughout the rest of the month. So check out our websites for more information. Sean's is SeanPatton.com. Mine is TheCaitlinCook.com. And also check out our guests. Will just released a new special with Comedy Central, I think this past Friday. And Giulia has a show June 12th at RA Loft in downtown LA. So check them out. Enjoy the episode. It's a banger.
Yeah. And this is the journey you will be taking with us every week. Every episode, we invite a different auteur from a different background, different world, different field to tell us a story of theirs in 5 simple words. We then tell our version of that story, and then they tell theirs.
Welcome to 5 Words
The podcast.
with Sean Patton.
And Caitlin Lubo Cook.
That's my name.
I threw in your middle name.
Sean's is Oliver.
Thank you. That's all I ever wanted.
What's yours?
That's right. That's right. Hit us at 5wordspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, tell us your middle name.
Just hit us. Just send us all your middle names, and we'll open the podcast with we'll take your middle name and make an acronym out of it.
It's true.
So speaking of acronyms, here is not one of those.
No.
Will Miles and Giulia Rozzi. Now, that would be a very long acronym.
Yes, they are a wonderful, both comedians, a couple.
One of the few couples in comedy that you're like, oh, good, they're gonna last.
Yeah.
They make sense.
They make sense. They support each other, and they're both very funny.
Wonderful.
And also joining us briefly on this podcast is their tiny, tiny dog, Mrs. Roper.
Oh, Mrs. Roper, their ghostwriter, you know. But yeah, they're super awesome. I've known Giulia for a long time. She's very funny. I mean, she's done so much.
And Will was one of the first comedians I ever met in Chicago when I started tiptoeing my way into the comedy world.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. And he just moved to LA. He's got some writing gig.
Yeah, so we recorded this episode with them in LA at their new apartment. And they have a great story. We talk a lot about social media and the terrible need for attention.
And I think Giulia's show, Drinking Rosé with Rozzi, is airing soon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's. I'm just. This is what I'm predicting.
Oh,
this is
yes.
a predictable. This is a predicting
And I think
credit.
Will's show, in which he just talks about sneakers, is on the horizon.
Yeah, walking in miles. Mm-hmm. Walking miles with Miles.
We gotta tell him that.
This is how much we like. We think they're awesome. They're both going to have their own shows, both airing late 2019. So you're hearing it now.
Yes, and
before
they
they
got
both blow up.
an amazing story in which things might blow up.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Listen to it now.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
That's good.
Checkity check.
Check.
Checking in through. That was the check jam. How many albums have you heard, like live albums from musicians where they mic check and it kind of sounds cool?
I've heard more of like the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like the count in for a band, which I like.
I like that.
It makes you think of them in a garage playing rather than separate parts of a studio.
Jay-Z and Eminem leave in the 1 2. Yo, I can't hear my snare. That kind of thing.
Oh, I love that shit.
I wish I could say I can't hear my snare.
I know, right?
Julia, you totally could.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like I can hear some guy talking. Shut up.
Row 3. Can we get row 3 out of here?
Oh God, I wish
more
I
on the
couldn't hear
kick,
my heckler.
please.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is I remember when I was a kid, when I was like really into music as a teenager for the first time, I thought all of it was just live.
So did I.
You just record it live.
Yeah.
And then you actually like witness a recording for the first time, like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
seems
you
hard.
see the band and you're like, oh, this is nothing like the record.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are like, I'd rather listen to like a nice recording in my apartment rather than pay money to go see and hear a shitty
We
version.
also can't see them anymore because people have their fucking phones in your face.
Oh God,
yeah.
that's the
It's the
fucking
worst. I want to watch the show, not the show through your screen. I've yelled at so many people at shows, and they're like, "What's this old lady screaming about?"
Yeah.
Oh God, isn't that a fucking psycho realization
Yeah.
that you hate as well?
Yeah.
When you start to realize like why it's not, you don't get angry because you're old. You get old because you're angry.
Yeah.
And you get angry because things are just stupider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
like 5 years, it's like a tire. Like, what the fuck is going on? How stupid did that just get?
Oh my God, I just heard that EMTs are now trained during their like training process of like a scenario. There's always one person playing the dumbass, getting in the way, trying to film it because they have to like prepare for that situation.
I mean, at least they're training for it, but that's
Yeah.
so upsetting.
Yeah.
What
I
are
don't know.
they
Yesterday,
filming?
I somehow fell down. I was like,
You fell down?
No. I fell down a well.
I
I
filmed
was
it,
telling
yeah.
Will this. I was like researching something. You know, Will pushed me, and then we filmed it, and then we got a ton of views.
Oh my God.
viral.
Take it off that.
I fell down a rabbit hole of like a YouTuber because I was researching something, and then it led me to a book on Amazon which was written by a YouTuber, and I was like, "Who's this?" And then I went to her I just like fell down the hole,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was like. And she just and I went back. I always go back to their first video just to be like, "How did this begin?" And she was like, "Hey guys, I'm 25. I'm an actress in LA, and I just love having fun with my friends. And like, I just feel like if I have fun with my friends, and like everyone sees me have fun with my friends, like we can just like share the fun. And then it's like 1 million followers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but some of those you notice where it's like, and I just like having fun. I'm just a down home person. Camera dollies in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's
Like
just like,
clearly a
oh, but
ring
you got a crane, a jib.
Anywho.
Yeah.
That just, when you said YouTuber rabbit hole, I was like, what if that were like a superpower? Like there was that was the new age of superheroes, and one of them was like, I'm the YouTuber.
Yeah.
I can just open up rabbit holes and she will fall down.
YouTuber rabbit
And
hole.
then we get sponsored.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Well,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say welcome to the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
This-
yeah.
We usually record this
We do a
separately up
teaser.
front
Yeah.
because we're bad at being like welcome to 5 words. The
No,
podcast.
You know why we're bad at that? Because we're people. We're good people.
Oh,
Regular,
right.
yeah.
We're not like,
Yeah.
hey, and like and follow, please subscribe.
Yeah, we are really bad at that.
Like and subscribe.
No,
Yeah.
we've done your podcast. You're also mega chill.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
times? I mean, and no offense to the other. I don't want to start a podcast beef here.
I do.
But
I do.
How many other? Have you
When
ever
you're
done
a
those
jet,
podcasts
you're a-
where it's like, all right, man, we're just gonna hang out, have fun, anyway, record. All right, welcome to the
Yeah.
Frankcast
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
But
with
can
Frank
I say
and
something
Frank.
though?
Yeah.
Being too chill isn't always great because we tried to start a what's that thing? The funding,
Patreon? Yeah.
Patreon,
Oh.
and literally we didn't do any of the rewards, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, we made like $5 because we didn't like promote it. We
Yeah.
like hardly
I don't even know how to access the $5.
Yeah, we don't even. Yeah.
There's just $5 out there frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be like, I mean, like us if you want, but like no pressure. We don't want to tell you what to do. Because neither of us, usually I feel like in a dynamic, at least I've seen in podcast dynamic, one person is usually the hardcore
Yeah.
promoter,
That's
and
true.
neither of us are. I guess
Neither of
I
you
am
are
more
either, I
than
don't
you.
think. Yeah.
But I'm not even that hard.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like also, it's very difficult.
To promote.
Especially if you're promoting your own shows,
Yeah.
and
I
then
just don't want
also
to bother people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to listen,
And you're
if
like,
you wanna
I know it's
see
good.
me,
I feel like you should listen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's good. Trust me.
I'd
Yeah.
rather other people. It's way better when someone else. The problem with our podcast, we talked about this. Not problem is we get a lot of private messages from fans, and I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, put that online. I can't retweet your private
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see. Okay.
I guess we could. We
people
could
that like
show
want
it.
advice,
but,
right, about
yeah.
relationships.
They either want advice or usually we get a lot of like really nice messages from people being like, your relationship really helped me realize I deserve something better, or like it's really been
Yeah.
helping me as a
Yeah.
single person. I'm like, cool. So if you could just write a post
you know what?
about that.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that where they post it and they scribble out their picture and name.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels
do that.
weird.
So I was, we were
We'll ask
listening
them.
to your podcast, and Bert and I, we got in an argument, and I just decided I'd had too much, and I didn't realize how strong I was. But your podcast empowered me to use that blunt object. I mean,
Now he's dead.
He's dead. I'm just saying, if you guys know a good spot, a good body dumping spot. Well, I mean, like,
You're the
it's-
101.
Well, we're going in that way with social media, and like, I guess whatever the next, because it wasn't called social media 10 years
No,
ago.
it was just called Friendster, I feel like. Or
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, MySpace.
And
And MySpace,
Now
yeah.
it's social media, but I believe we will get to a point where there are like, Yelp reviews on places to hide bodies.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also not very social. It's actually very antisocial.
Antisocial.
It just hurt I was talking about this with my sister. I'm like, it took a long time for me to work on my self-esteem. And I felt like the second I was like, maybe I am all right. Social media was invented, and I was like, there's a million parties I'm not invited to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it took me back to adolescence so hard. And it's like, and then here I am, like, me and my sister are trying to teach my teenage niece, like, you don't have to be liked by everyone. Sometimes you're not going to be included. And then meanwhile, we're like, wait a second, did you see? You know what I mean? It's like,
Can we all
Get
post
out
for
of
this
the
photo?
photo.
Yeah.
it's such a mind. I hate it. I wasn't built for this
You
era.
have to be your own person and not pay attention to what everyone else is up to. Live your own life. Also, why the fuck am I not invited
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the meltdown Christmas party?
Yeah, I wasn't.
fuck?
I was not made for this technological age. I'm
Although
not
I
built
am
for
so
it.
glad that I'm not any younger because
So am I.
Oh,
the
yeah.
think
idea
about
of
that all the
having
time.
Instagram or face like in the same way as it is
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
back when I was in middle school, dear God.
Oh
no.
God, because we can. I take like time off here and there. I don't make an announcement I'm taking time off. I just don't go on for a couple days.
Yeah.
And
just do that.
I think I'm allowed to because of my age, because I know life before it.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like when you were born into it, it's a lot harder to
Yeah.
Or even like
disconnect.
Oh, God, yeah.
if you're in your 20s, I feel like, or like
Yeah.
25 or younger, we got friends who are that age.
Like
and it's
imagine if when we were all
15,
18
yeah.
or even like 15, 18, and suddenly we're told we can't page our friends. Suddenly we can't beep each other with special codes behind it
Yeah.
to explain the nature of the page. Like,
Yeah.
no way, man. I'm rebelling against the man.
I
Yeah.
think it's
The
gonna
norm.
lessen though. I think like with
hope.
all drugs, everyone's gonna find their good dose. Everyone's just like binging hard right now.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna lessen. I hope. It's weird. I don't know. I saw someone today posted like, nah, never mind.
I was telling her though.
Probably that.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
now we're
It
going.
was like
They
someone
posted
like,
never mind. Yeah.
No, it was like someone like got injured and literally like I just got injured a minute ago and it was like them like waiting
saw
for
that
an
too.
ambulance. Yeah.
And I thought I definitely was like, oh man, I don't know if I'd be
that's
doing
not-
this right now.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
feel like
weird.
I'd be
That's like the person getting in the way of the EMT, but it's the own.
Yeah,
it's the victim
yes.
doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
And I don't want to judge this person's behavior. Maybe that's how they connect. Maybe they don't have anyone close to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, but to me, it just felt weird that the first thing I do in an emergency is post while I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in emergencies, and I remember calling my mom.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a mom.
Maybe.
True, but I mean, then you put it out there, and it's. I also feel like you put it out there for what purpose though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Who-
gain
like,
anything.
look at what's happening to me right now. It's me. My
Yeah,
life, me. It's
yeah.
on display, and like
Yeah.
I feel the same way as you. It's like you don't want to judge, but then at the same time, you're like, wait, what is judgment actually versus just having an opinion? And being
Yeah,
like-
you're right.
Yeah, it's like
You're right.
I think this is selfish, but at the same
Yeah.
time, if it were a plea for help, if it were like,
Yes.
hey, I'm
Yeah.
on Facebook Live right now because I forgot the code. What do you call? What number is it when
Yeah.
you get hurt?
Yeah,
I forgot.
yeah.
But do you want to hear something truly disturbing and sad? A few years ago, somebody from my high school who I wasn't very close with, but they came to a show and I was like, oh, they seem like they're not in a good place. But like I wasn't close with them. But after they came to the show, we became Facebook friends. And then I noticed, like when you become friends with someone new, they show
Yeah.
up in your algorithm a lot.
Yeah.
So she started posting things like, is anyone awake? I really need to talk.
Oh.
And I felt really conflicted because I was like, well, I'm awake, but I don't know you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
also trying to boundaries where like, I don't want to like, she ended up killing herself.
Yeah.
That's
That
so
sucks,
rough.
Yeah.
When you feel like you could have done something, but at the
I mean,
same
I know
time,
I
it's
couldn't
like,
have, but I was also
yeah.
like, but that's a situation where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, she didn't have anyone to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have staved it off maybe at best, but it's like,
Yeah.
it would have happened either way.
Whoa, way to start the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're
I
talking
mean,
about some real shit.
It's
Yeah.
also no, you're right. It's like it's hard to when someone puts yes, you want to help people, but at the same time where it's like, wait a second though, we can't. Don't we all need these moments where we're just not having to watch out for the good of the world? That's what I
Yeah.
think sometimes. Where it's like
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't want to get on social media, and I know I'm being selfish right now, but for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No, for real.
Like I just want to be here in my little bubble, fucking eating whatever microwaved garbage I'm eating and freaking out about shit that's going on in my life because I need to do that
Yes.
so I can be a better person on the outside.
Oh
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's selfish. I think that's self-preservation and self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like that, you'd feel bad if you probably what happened to you. You saw that probably as you were going into one of those, like, but I just want to be alone.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also like I
You
don't
know?
know
I
that
didn't
I
wanna
want to
engage,
form
it's
a
late.
relationship that could be
Yeah.
toxic to me.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, if I were to, I used to make myself very available to anyone who needed, especially in comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I
no.
mean? Like I
Sure.
would see someone, I'd be like, "Hey,
Sure.
are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I would like, I don't know. I sort of have a. I used to want to be a therapist, so I have like and my sister's a therapist. So I have
Yeah.
a little bit of therapist energy sometimes. Where I'm like, it's not your fault. And
I mean, right now you do have a very
Literally.
Therapist
California
with dog in your lap.
Sweater on a couch.
Sweater.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hold on, let me put on a scarf.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Some beads. Yeah.
No, but and then I would find myself in these situations where I'm like, oh no, I just came to do my show and now so-and-so needs to tell me about like another guy that broke their heart. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
fuck, like this is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I hope I hope I give off a light enough vibe that people know not to tell me those things. Or I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
you know I can't go deep. So yeah, let's not even don't even try to
You're
talk
full
to
of
me.
shit. You do go deep. You
I go
try
deep
to-
with people I want to, but I want
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
general idea of me to be
Yeah.
like, oh, he doesn't go
You're
deep.
vapid?
Yeah, vapid, aloof.
Totally. I
Aloof
mean,
has
that
been what
reads.
yeah, good. That's what I want.
Aloof.
I think I'd like to be the kind of vibe where I know enough about establishing boundaries where I can be like, hey, really, like, understand you're going through some shit. Can't talk right now.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
set
good.
up a time.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, like
I'm
that-
not always good at reading that situation.
Yeah, but that's definitely a good point going forward. Like, hey, if you're suffering, get help. There's plenty of people who are willing to listen. But sometimes comedians, we are spiraling out
Yeah.
of control
Oh, yeah.
ourselves.
Oh,
I don't know why
yeah.
you would trust our mental health.
No,
like, no
no.
way.
Oh,
and we
man.
just need to go off and just deal with it and maybe call each other.
Yeah.
But what is the dog's name?
Mrs.
Mrs.
Roper.
Roper.
Mrs. Roper, and that is a Maltese.
It's a poodle something. We don't know.
yes,
She's the perfect little
just
dog.
a mutt.
Just a
Yeah.
fat ball of fur.
And it seriously does look like if I can describe it in one sentence, a cartoon dog come to life.
yeah.
That's very
Absolutely,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, she looks like a
Yeah.
stuffed animal that's
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
like
yeah.
filled
Yeah.
with batteries.
Yeah, like
It's Ted, yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're not actually a therapist. You are a mystic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you cast a spell on a stuffed animal.
Oh my
and
god, I
make
would
it
love
life.
that.
And she is sitting
Yawning,
in
huh?
Giulia Rozzi's lap since we'll go back.
Oh,
earlier.
right. Yeah.
No, we
oh,
never
yeah.
did.
I forgot about that. Whoops.
And we're also with Will Miles.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Julia Rozzi, Will Miles. We do a real big cold open.
Yeah.
You just
Act
gotta
one.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So,
Well,
do
I
you guys
believe-
want to tell us your story in
Oh,
5
5
words?
Oh,
words?
yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah.
give us the
Okay.
first word, and
Okay.
then I'll know what story we're telling.
Laundry.
Fire.
Police.
Okay.
Sleuth.
Sleuth.
Frustration.
Laundry, fire, police, sleuth, frustration.
Laundry, fire, police, sleuth, frustration, which is ridiculous because I don't even need to write these down. I remember you guys telling this story
Totally.
years
No.
ago.
Yeah, yeah,
What,
yeah.
really?
Yes.
It was. You guys remember Julia? This was when you lived in New York. You lived across the street from a laundromat.
Yeah, and in New York, for those listening, you don't usually have laundry in your building, so you
Right.
have to go use a public laundromat.
But this was Brooklyn, where everything's so chill and so woke that they actually did coal-fired laundry machines.
Oh,
Right, so
yeah,
there was-
yeah,
it was
yeah.
always
and there was
hot
like a
'cause they're always
cool,
stoking
hot
fire.
bar with cocktails also in the laundry place.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
definitely
It's like
what
a
was
hip
going on.
spot.
Yeah. So it was like, you could say it was funny because people were like, that laundry place is fire. But it was like, ha
Yeah,
ha.
yeah, yeah.
It is also, there is a fire stoking to get the machines working.
Yeah, and then you're there one day, you're having some drinks, doing some laundry, and then all of a sudden, police sirens and lights are all around you, and you're like, what is going on?
And the guy who normally gives you your quarters, and he gives them to you from the belt, the exchange center, he pulls a badge, and he's like, hey, I'm actually a private detective.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And we're on the case. You know, we're just in general as NYPD, we're pretty frustrated. And
Yeah.
and
it turns out there was like a money laundering thing going through this laundry place.
which you would think, like, really, of all
Yeah,
places.
I know. Very straightforward and
And
typical.
you know, you were there when they busted it.
Yep. And that's the story.
That was the story. I remember you telling us that.
That is really good.
So what's the real story?
Yeah. What actually happened?
You know what? What if it was that exact thing happened?
exactly
Yeah,
that.
that was it.
I mean,
Well-
really quickly, can't you see there, and of course failing very quickly, but in Brooklyn they're being like, we're a coal-fired
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
old school laundromat.
Yep.
Like,
We're paleo for laundry.
We lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That part was
Okay,
right.
there you go.
And we lived
There was a
not
laundry
across
across,
the street from a
basically.
laundromat. It was around the corner.
oh,
Close,
okay.
close.
Is it kitty corner or something? Like
It
I
was
don't know.
like
It's
it was like yeah.
you could kind of see it from our roof.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely see
now,
it from
was
the
the
roof.
building you lived in before you moved here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
were
we've
there.
been
Yeah.
there.
You know what was super interesting about your building? How it was standalone on the block.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How it was like
Yes.
not just crammed next. It was just like one building, and then
It was next to in between two parking lots.
it was like
it
oh,
made
look at
no
that.
sense.
yeah. And it
Yeah.
also had a yard in the back that no one could have access to.
Weird.
That's fun,
Right?
landlord
Because I guess
asshole.
there had been
Yeah.
I asked the landlord, he's like, oh, there was like problems because the only way to access it was a gate that was in the front of the building.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, so just make keys for just the tenants. He's like, no. And then people sneak back. I don't know, whatever. That's not the story.
Yeah.
So
There's a pool and a
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. There's a card game outside. No.
Yes.
So we would do laundry drop off, which is something a lot of people do in New York. You
Hell
drop it
yeah.
off, you pay them
Yeah.
to do the laundry for
It's
you.
called the fluff and fold.
Yep.
yeah.
And then when we went to go pick it up,
We went. No, we didn't even go to pick it up. We were walking on a walk, and we saw a fire
Uh-oh.
in the laundromat. Well, like, and then
like the police
bunch
tape
of
and everything.
tape
holy
and
shit.
sirens, and our clothes were still in there.
No.
And like we saw, it was just like a bad fire, and they had to come and really douse it out with all that.
And the clothes.
Wait a second. Was it a fire or was it the roof collapsed?
No, it was a fire.
And that's what caused the roof to
caused
collapse.
the roof to collapse.
Holy
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
real fire, not
Yeah,
just
real
the-
fire.
Yeah.
Okay,
Were
like
you
the
able
In
to
the
get your
building.
on the
clothes?
first floor. What?
Were you able to get your clothes
Well,
back?
so of course we go up to the police. Both of us. What's so great, I don't know if you guys have this as well, but I feel like for the most part, one of the things that's really great about Will and I's dynamic is if one of us is like pissed about like a service or like someone in the street, the other one's pretty calm. And so it balances each other out because then both of us aren't mad at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do love it every now and then when both of us are like out for blood. So like we both go up and we're like, "Where's a laundry?" like
Well,
we were
no.
like,
I didn't go up to the cops like that.
What?
You went up to the cops like that.
Oh yeah, Will
I
didn't
know
go to the
better.
cops. You went up to like a worker though.
Yeah, yeah.
I was able to white
For the
woman
listeners,
the cops.
I'm black. I can.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, like,
Yeah.
Will, you must have been so confidently
Yeah.
angry in those clothes.
Yeah.
I was across the street from the police. Well,
Yeah. And they were like, oh, you know, most of this, we think the stuff in there is okay, but we can't, no one can go in yet. We'll call you. And also there was like no one there, like that was owning
Yeah.
the laundromat. It was just this like one cop.
Weird.
And so it was on patrol and it was like blocked off or whatever. So for days
for
we
weeks,
kept
I think it was blocked off. For
yeah,
like
we kept
a
like
week at
going
least.
by there. No one was there.
Yeah.
No one was calling us. So then one day,
Wow. Wait, and this was like not. Was this one of those loads where it was like, oh, not just some things
Oh,
we
it was
need
like
to clean?
No, it was a
bags.
full load.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it was
all
a
of your
full-
like
Yeah, it was
a
like all
month
our
of shit.
clothes.
Where
Yeah,
you're
it was
like,
a
oh, I
bunch
gotta
of
do
shit
this
in one
laundry now.
bag, and it was like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's.
That really sucks.
See, I think that for listeners who don't live in New York, that's a thing that happens a lot.
Yes.
You let it laundry pile up, and then you're like, I'll just clean everything I have except these 2 pairs of corduroys.
Yeah.
exactly.
And a fucking old Patriots jersey, and like a shirt from a job I used to have, and that's all you end up having
Yeah.
for like a. So you had this
week.
for like a month.
yeah,
No,
it was
like
2 weeks.
2 weeks
maybe.
still.
2 weeks
Still,
of
that's
just
a
like
long time. Yeah.
taking the outfits that I never wear and wearing those to shows and stuff.
But then Will, this is honestly, I want you to tell how it happened. This is one of the sexiest things I think a man has ever done. He comes home one day and he has the bag of laundry. He goes, I went in.
Yeah. So what happened was me and
What?
I was walking home from the train, and the laundromat's on the way home from the train, and so I look in, and there's just this guy standing outside looking in,
Yeah.
and then I see him kind of jiggle the door, and it's open, and so I'm like, wait, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know, I got something in there, I don't see anyone, but the door seems open, and I was like, fuck it. And I took the door and I went in and I was like, hey, my shit's in there too. I'm going. Fuck it. Let's just go. And I ran into the back. We were both like, I don't know if any dust was around or any like asbestos was
But in
around.
your head, you're like,
But in my head,
crawling under
I'm like,
things.
it's a fire currently. And I'm like,
Shield yourself.
ran to the back, saw my laundry. It was like, it couldn't have been placed more out there, like in the open, like
Clean and folded still?
clean and folded.
What?
Wow.
They
Yeah.
got that done
Well, they
before the
finished it. I
fire?
think we were supposed to pick it up that night.
Yeah,
Okay.
we never got to pay
And
them.
we never paid. I left. I think I meant to leave $20. I don't know if I
That
ever
would have
left
been really
it.
dumb.
It would have been stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
But I grabbed the bag and then ran out and like literally rushed into the apartment.
Left
And was like,
20
I got the
bucks.
bag.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And they never reopened.
Yeah.
They just, it was
still closed. So
and I'm sure
we would
people's
have
laundry's
never
still
gotten
in
our
there.
laundry back.
Yeah, and then honestly, like it was about, I don't know how many months later that, probably a year later we moved here, and like one of the biggest perks was having
having a
laundry.
laundry.
Oh yeah, LA is way different. Yeah.
'cause-
But then also at the same time, you're like, you get a little wistful, like, if only there was a laundromat nearby that would burn down that I could quasi break into.
Right.
Steal
Yeah.
back my own
Yeah.
possessions. And consider
the
living
story.
$20 and a note and my address and a picture of myself.
But every day, but it was kind of fun because every day for 2 weeks, we were like plotting
Yeah.
what we're gonna do. We're
Like,
like,
how,
okay,
do we break in? Yeah.
okay, so I'll walk by in a sexy outfit, and they'll like be like,
Yeah.
hubba hubba, and then we'll back like a Bugs Bunny, Bugs Bunny
Yeah.
would dress as a
Yeah.
woman to like
Yes.
distract, or like we were coming up with all these different plot things, and then
We
Will
had
just
so many. I think
walked
we even
in.
talked to like people who used to live upstairs or something, and we're like trying to figure out a way to get in.
You're like, hey, does anyone want to? You guys like to everyone else like, hey, we're shooting a we're shooting a web series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you
Oh
guys
my
want to
God.
be in it, where you
Who
just
can open the door? Anyone?
Yeah.
this is the set. Just like be really big and go grab that bag. No, we planted it there.
Oh.
All
What's
right,
crazy-
that's it. That's the end of the series.
What's crazy too is the guy who I saw trying to jiggle the door. His laundry was in the thing still. It was still he was doing it himself when it burned down, I guess.
Oh,
And so his
Shit.
shit was still in the thing. I'm like, oh,
You're fucked.
it's so wet. I'm sure.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it's disgusting
just
clothes.
covered with.
I
soot.
gotta say, I have never had clothes folded as perfectly than when
Me either.
people in New York do your laundry.
And
like
ironed,
I'll
everything.
roll
It's-
my shit in balls
yeah.
and throw it in a drawer. Like I'm like, what's the
Our shit
point?
is so
Yeah.
wrinkled when it leaves the dryer.
Yeah.
But it's like whatever they did. I don't know how they did it, but it was folded, ironed, and it was so clean.
And
Yeah.
I think that is so fucking like that is definitely like that is a definitive like if you guys are ever writing a show about like life in New York
Yeah.
as an interracial couple in Brooklyn
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is definitely an episode.
oh yeah,
Absolutely,
for
yeah.
sure.
It's in a treatment. Yeah.
that is
It's already in our treatment.
that is such a moment of like how are we going to steal the laundry? It's like,
Yeah.
we can't steal the laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the
Just
plot.
steal the
Can I share the
goddamn
plot point of that
Exactly.
episode, or is that
No,
ruined?
I
No,
don't think
don't.
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I'll do it
That
off
is-
pod.
But that is, yeah. Well, that is such a like. That's one of those stories that like you're like that just happened, but then you tell some people and they're like, wait, explain it from the
Right.
top.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
my
yeah.
mom.
It didn't burn down your laundry.
No, my
Our
mom.
laundry was like perfect. It was insane. Everything around it was black.
That's so
My
funny.
Italian, very, very clean mom, first of all, hated that I had my laundry done at a laundromat. She goes, "But the machines, they're dirty." I'm like, they're literally
Yeah,
washing machines. They get cleaned every time.
the purpose of
They're
the
used.
machine.
Yes.
And then when I told her that other people were doing the laundry and folding it, she was horrified. Also, she thought that I was like loaded. Like she was like, "Wow, you're rich now," and I was like,
It does seem like a luxury, but it's
It
really
does.
not.
Yeah.
It's such a New
well,
York
then we
regular
started
thing.
bringing
Yeah.
it to. Then we started getting it picked up and delivered after that because there was
Yeah.
a place that was a few blocks further.
Damn. Now
It was
that-
far
now
enough to
I'm
not
impressed with
walk.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $5 more. It was worth it.
If
Okay.
that, it was delivery.com based. It was like there were discounts all the time. It was
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
know?
actually something I've never because I used to do that constantly
Mm.
with drop. I've only even at my poorest in New York, I was like drop off. It's $2 a pound or whatever it is.
Me too.
I clearly don't have time to do laundry. I'm busy being poor.
yeah.
You know.
And I justify it because you can like if you buy Tide, you're like, well, Tide's $11.49.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's so funny. He always used to do it and have to convince me because I grew up here where I did my own laundry.
Of course, yeah.
I really struggled against it, but it's so nice when you're like, it's all pre-folded. and I don't have to do shit. Just put it in my drawers.
Yeah.
Caitlin grew up with her parents. They made their own clothes.
Yeah.
Really?
Actually, that's weirdly kind of accurate, though. My
Is
mom
it?
used to
Really?
make her own clothes, yeah.
Really?
She still has a sewing machine in that closet by the TV.
Well, no, but that's the thing of like I wished shit like that would happen all the time when I lived. I like would have. I've had those like, man, if this bodega burnt down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
I want to be the savior of this.
Yeah,
bodega.
I want to go in there, put the fire out, and then they're like, you free roll sandwiches for life.
Yeah.
Not hero roll only.
Yeah,
It's realistic. You gotta your imagination has to live within the boundaries of reality.
Yeah.
You know?
Sadly.
I was also fun because I just didn't know Will was the kind of person to do that.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he got points.
So they had
Yeah.
to, they had to basically redo. They had to wash everything immediately the next day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Will
exactly.
came in there all sexy with the
That's
the
right.
bags. It was like,
Yeah, and then
somehow I got baby oil all
took
over
out his
me.
penis and jerked off all over our
Yeah.
laundry.
Cover every single item.
Just to really
Yeah.
let him know who's boss.
Yeah.
That
And then I was
those-
like, oh,
those
actually,
clothes.
I take it back. I'm not attracted to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you almost you
Jizz
almost
doesn't
had
come
me
out of
for-
silk.
It was so
Yeah.
close.
It's like the equivalent of when, like when they're doing Tide commercials and they pour like the blue liquid. That's
Yes.
what Will's doing, but with his jizz.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't understand this commercial.
So that's a lot of jizz, bro.
It's weirdly a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
All
of
the, this is
jizz.
Why
a
is
month's
it in a
worth of
cup?
clothes, and
What's
it's on every item.
I don't know if this is someone's joke, and I apologize if I'm stealing it right now, but it is weird that they use that blue liquid in pad and tampon commercials too.
Yes.
Why not use red liquid?
Just to-
Because that's too graphic for
It
the
is,
men
yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
Same with like toilet paper commercials. There's something weird. That's
Absorbent?
That's why they use bears, because it's weird to use humans.
Toilet paper? Oh, when they're like rubbing their tush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like, because there's been numerous times where we've been, like, on the road or somewhere, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the store, and Caitlin's like, hey, do you mind bringing over some tampons? And I'm like, no, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and the idea of a guy getting weird about that, I'm like, why?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What is it? If anything, it just projects, like, there's a woman
Yeah.
in my life
Yep.
who has
Yeah.
accepted me and all my fucking
I
garbage.
know, it's such a dumb sitcom trope.
It's
It
really
is.
like I might just start buying tampons every time I go to the store.
Yeah.
just for like and saying it, just like I think I'll have heavy flow. Do you have
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And that way you can pay the tax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I buy
Oh,
hair
her-
stuff, and the people will look at me and go, "So, how much hair does she have?" And I'm like,
Wait, what
this-
did you buy?
This is for me.
Oh, when you buy hair products?
When I buy hair products,
Oh,
that-
yeah.
like last time I was in New York, I forgot my hair stuff, and I went to the bodega and I was like, "Hey, where's this?" And they were like, "Well, what kind of hair type is she?" And I was like, "No, it's my own hair.
Yeah.
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 I need it."
I do
so weird.
still, anytime I've bought a pregnancy test, though,
Yeah.
or condoms as an adult, I do still get, especially a pregnancy test, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble
Yeah.
because it was such a thing when you were like younger. I remember
Yeah.
going with a friend in high school. I didn't have sex in high school. My friend did, and I had to go with her to go get a pregnant. Or no, she asked me to go buy it for her because she like wouldn't leave. She was crying so hard in her bathroom
Oh,
because she thought she was
no.
pregnant.
Whoa.
And I was like, I'll go buy it. And then I remember being like, it's for a friend, and it really was for a
Yeah.
friend because it was like my local CVS.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, but," and I also like the idea of you being like, by the way, when hair products being like, "Yeah, by the way, she's Italian." As
yeah,
fuck."
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
a lot of hair, but also, I also like your Italian mother probably being like, "Oh, you're buying it for a friend, so you're rich.
Yeah.
You're rich. You're rich." I can only do Jewish mother.
there
but-
is-
So you're rich. You're
Wow,
buying
you're rich
condoms
now?
for your friend.
There is
you're
a
rich?
CVS related story. My mom did call me rich. It was a few months ago, and we live near a CVS. My parents' house is walkable to a CVS.
Wait, where are you from again? I forget.
From Boston.
From
like
Boston,
the
that's what I thought.
suburbs right outside
Okay,
of
yeah,
Boston,
yeah.
Belmont. So we live near the CVS. And my mom wanted to go like use a triple coupon. And so I pulled up to the CVS and she goes, "Oh, no, let's not go to this one. You have to pay a meter. Let's go to a different one." And I was like, "But the different one is 10 minutes away."
Oh, you're wasting that much in
And
gas.
I'll just pay the
Exactly.
meter. And my mom, you would have thought that I offered to get a private jet. She goes, "Oh, you got so many quarters," and she's like shimmying her shoulder. It was like the most disappointed she ever was. I just started putting quarters on the meter, and she was like, "We're not going to be here that long." And I was like, "It's 75 cents."
You making a sauce, Elena, tonight, huh? Mr. Richard Dart. I don't know why.
What's that?
I don't know.
I
These
don't know.
accents are okay.
They're all over the
weird.
place.
That was pretty good.
It's
What?
hello. I am a Giulia Rozzi's mom.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
Italian from Boston.
All right.
Is
If
she
you
just
keep
like
going,
Christmas,
it'll
no?
slow.
Boston or is she
She's
first
from Italy.
No, both of my parents are from Italy.
Oh, they're like straight up first
yeah.
generation.
So I grew up very immigrant-y.
Yeah, that's terrible. My accent then.
Yeah.
It just sounds like.
And if you kept it going long enough, it would just slowly turn Scottish.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
accent Sean does slowly
Yeah.
turns into Shrek.
Apparently, my everything else turns Scottish and my Jamaican turns Irish
Nice.
every time.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Is my Irish turns Jamaican? I can't
don't know.
remember.
Will's very good at impressions.
I'm not the Italian
You can't do the Italian.
family yet, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I've immersed myself. We went to a wedding. I immersed myself in the family. They were even not like I didn't understand anything they were saying. They were speaking Italian mostly around me, and I was like, "Oh, I think I got this accent."
They
a
were
little
probably saying, "Look, it's a black guy."
bit. I know, yeah. Can you believe? No. But like, there was a point where your mom and Pina were both like talking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." They like your mom was good about trying to include me,
Yeah.
but and then like Pina was also like trying to include me too. But it was like I couldn't understand the story.
Yeah, actually, now that you say it, they were definitely like, look at the black guy.
Well,
He's with Julia.
I don't know if other families do this, but Italians, I think a lot of foreigners do this. Everyone has a descriptor. So like no one has names. So there's like the black guy, the fat guy, the tall girl. We have a relative
Spanish has
called
this.
the cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like my mom doesn't like her.
Okay.
You couldn't figure that out. But like everyone has like there's the guy, and they all have. So if you're Chinese, you're the Chinese.
Yeah.
Even if you're Japanese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Spanish is
in my
kind of
family.
like that, of like, you're
Yeah.
the blonde girl.
Yeah.
You're-
Yeah, they don't have time to learn names.
Her mom was running through them last week, though. It was hilarious, I will say.
Yeah.
There were like 10 names that I didn't know these people, but they sounded
There's
hilarious.
Shpuyad, which was my neighbor. Shpuyad is the naked because
Yeah.
our old neighbor, when she was young, took off all her clothes.
Once.
There was Labats, the
Once.
crazy. There was one called La Fafa, and Fafa isn't even a word. It's just that she had buck teeth and went bah, 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 like that. She was a child. I just want to mention she was a child, and my mom nicknamed her. Not to her
La
face. It's
Fafa.
never to their face.
Right.
But it's just to help them remember who people are. So before they knew Will, he was my black boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then he got a name, Ma Will.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really what my mom, Willie. My mom calls
Yeah.
it Willie sometimes too.
So if you get that's good to know. In an Italian family, you're going to start with a descriptor.
Absolutely.
I'd
Yeah.
rather be fur face
Yeah.
or like round head.
Yeah.
And then once you but the first time you get called by name, it's like, oh, I'm in.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm fucking in. And
Yeah.
then it goes into like the descriptor of like my will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, buddy.
funny.
You're
Yes.
You've gotten stock.
In the
Yeah.
fam. Yeah.
That's
It's
like
almost like they stop seeing the descriptors once you have a personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it's like almost their way of, I don't know, tolerance and acceptance.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
It's
know.
like going from making an
funny.
hourly wage to salary
Yeah.
to making partner.
Yeah.
Going
Like,
from
oh,
fries
yeah.
to burgers. Yeah.
It is weird though, the amount of my friends that have been like, I just want your family to accept me. I'm like, oh God.
Then they never will.
That's their reputation of like they're difficult to please.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oy.
But you said, because like growing up in the South, there are 3 races. There's white, black, Chinese.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
falls into one of those categories.
Yeah.
And there's also Coke. And that sums up every soft drink
Yeah.
is Coke.
Yeah.
Everything's a
Oh,
Coke. Like you like hey, you want a Coke? Yeah, what kind? Sprite.
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah.
a very common sentence. And it's also just like, oh wait, is it white or black? Oh, no, it's Chinese. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like that's
It's a Puerto
a
Rican person.
lot of the South. It's like there's 3. It's like, well, there's many different. They're actually Asian and
Yeah.
from Singapore or
Well, I threw my dad for a huge loop years ago because I was always told, date your race, which is white.
yeah.
Don't date black. That was like the.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, things changed. But then I started dating someone who was Indian, and I was like, so where does this? And you could just see his brain,
Oh, yeah.
like smoke coming out of his ears, being like, wait, we didn't. I don't know what category this falls
That's
Does
in.
not
so-
compute.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he wasn't thrilled about it. Not so much because of the race, just because personality. But I That's another story. Anywho, but it was funny
I
because
can't need more than 5 words for that one.
yeah, but it was just funny because you could see him being like, "Oh, this isn't so literally black and white," you know. And then I remember always being like, "What if I was dating someone who was Chinese?" And they were like, "You're probably not going to date." Just because there weren't a lot of
In Boston,
suburban Boston. Yeah.
Well, there actually are a lot of Asians because of like, oh God, the colleges. I mean, I hate to say that's why.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there
That
is
makes
a
sense.
lot of Asian people because of
sure.
the colleges.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
I
this
mean,
not
I feel,
cool
I
to
feel like
say?
that's one of those. No, I
think
feel
it's
like
true.
I feel like that's a stereotype that's like, okay, if you're going to be stereotypical,
Yeah.
aim positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
they-
like a
do you
lot
think
of
there's-
Asian people go to Harvard and
Yeah.
Yeah.
MIT.
And
Yeah.
and especially
God, so many.
that has to be
There's so
why
many
there's
colleges.
what about even here even?
Yeah, the Asian
Like
population
USC, UCLA.
of South Central is
Yeah.
very
yeah.
high, and it's
Well,
like
there's
that
also
doesn't
like
make any
we're closer
sense
to
other than
Asia over
college.
here on the West Coast.
Oh, that's
like,
true.
Well, we were just in your boy Kenny DeForest's
Springfield.
hometown.
Yeah.
Which they apparently in Springfield, Missouri, they're like, oh, this is where cashew chicken was invented.
Yeah.
Really?
That's their claim
Yeah.
to fame. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then
it
you
is
have it.
basically just
Yeah.
fried chicken, cashews, and brown sauce.
Yep.
And you're like,
Exactly. And like,
okay,
yep.
I see what you're doing.
I get it now.
You took a southern
Yeah.
meal and called it Chinese.
But there's a ton of, a huge Asian population there. And it's funny because I heard one of the other comedians talking about Hassan Minaj.
Oh, yeah,
And they
yeah.
called him Asian.
Yeah.
Because, technically.
Yeah,
South
yeah, yeah.
Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And but the dude they were talking to was like, what? Like you could see it was just like does not register. What do you mean? Oh, because India is part of Asia.
Yeah.
It's like
My brain.
It is pretty
Yeah.
like in an ideal world, obviously everyone would understand everything.
Yeah.
But you have to think, like when I'm talking to someone like my dad who's 76,
Yeah.
you know, Italian,
Came to
raised
America
on
a boat.
Yeah, raised in a
Yeah,
village
yeah,
on
yeah.
a farm, was basically told, you get married, you have kids, you get a
Sure,
job, you
sure.
shut up. Like I've literally been like, so why'd you get married and have a family? He goes, because that's what I was told to do. Like he
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
just did everything by the book.
Yeah.
So to someone like him, when you try to explain pronouns or anything that's sort of like new, like if I was like, it's not Chinese, it's Japanese, like
Oh yeah.
he's like, you think I got time for this? Like
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
but my whole thing is like his actions are good. His language skills are limited. So I'm not saying what's right or
Yeah.
he's pretty smart about not saying, I think, things that might be inappropriate in public. But I think his mentality is like, I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything mean. He's just
His
like,
intent is not to offend.
Well,
He's just
yeah.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too. That's a good point because I think like the origin, the initial idea of being of racial, is not to discriminate; it's to identify.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's where the initial idea comes from. That's why I have a joke about it, but I say I think you can tell a lot about who you are as a person by the connotation of your earliest racist thoughts.
Yeah.
Because you didn't understand what racism was. You didn't understand, like when you're like 12. The example I use is the first time I met an Asian person because of TV and
Oh,
culture.
yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're a genius. You're 15 times smarter than I am.
Yeah.
What's that like? How is that? That's got to be
Yeah.
awesome. And it's like, I take comfort in the fact that at least it was positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it means,
Yeah.
I'm like a decent human being. But like, it's a thing too. Like, imagine your dad too had to like work his way over here in ways that now people would find inhumane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now would be like, what the fuck? And
Oh,
he just
yeah.
that was like, that's because it's the only way.
I had to get here, right?
Yeah.
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 He's
That's
what
rowing
he's
a boat
thinking.
across the Atlantic Ocean, and like someone's telling him, like, so one day there will be a platform called the internet,
Yeah.
where all information will travel to you immediately,
yeah.
regardless of what it was. You'd be like, that's a great book. Read it to me again.
yeah. My mom was in Italy during like Mussolini times.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
like, or my
Yeah.
grandmother was like, there's like war, like
Your
they
mom
talk
too,
about.
because she got here late, right?
Yeah, she got
Yeah.
here in the 60s. So there's like
Yeah.
war shit that they talk about. So
Yeah.
their whole mentality is like, as long as we're like nice to everyone, like
That's
who
all that
cares,
matters.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because the time that I've spent with most first generation kids, like we all bond pretty easily because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where your parents are from, but wherever it doesn't matter. There's sort of like a lot of similarities. It's like you struggle between that culture and American culture, and you don't get the perks of being a minority, but you're also not fully American. It's like a very weird way to grow up. But the thing we've all kind of agree on is like we'll all share like the quote unquote racist shit that our parents say.
Oh yeah.
And I'll share it with people of that demographic. And they don't think it's racist because their parents also say that shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm sure my family's called like, oh, the loud Italians, they're cheap,
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
hairy, like whatever. And we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you remember us, right?
That's exactly.
We're invited to dinner?
Right. Yeah.
All right, you're paying
Do I
rent
stand
on
out
time?
at
like
all?
whatever. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, like the black Julia's Black Will. We love him.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that they had to mention you're black to some people would be like, oh, it's like,
you don't have to. It's like,
that's
no,
the
they
thing.
do. Like, yeah.
But
I'm the only one.
But I think they think of it as a like it's like saying like he's an accountant.
Yeah.
They're like that's one of his qualities.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go. It's one of your gifts.
Yeah.
That's what
You know, it
is.
is a gift.
It is one of Will's gifts.
All I had to do was be born.
Hey, same thing. Same thing can be said about Albert Einstein.
That's true.
He didn't choose to be smart.
He's a genius.
Well, that's the thing, but that is the ultimate thing about social media that bums me out is that like
Ooh, circling back around. Hell yeah.
Nice.
but that it does not. There is no room to remind everyone that we're human and no one comes from this fucking discrimination sterilized laboratory.
Yeah.
Where every single thing you've said from the beginning of speaking and every thought you've had was just completely politically correct and open-minded.
Yeah.
And, even playing field. And it's like, we all want to get there. We're all aiming for that. But to pretend like you didn't come from something like that, to pretend like you didn't experience it yourself, either thinking it or even obviously experiencing it, but to pretend like you don't understand where it comes from, I think is why we're having such a hard time eradicating it.
I do too.
Is because people are being like, well, my family, I would never, that kind of thing would never be. It's like, yes, it was.
Yeah,
We have to remember, though,
absolutely.
it's
Everybody's
because
family.
You're reading it.
Yeah.
And you're reading a photo. It's someone's face in a photo.
Yeah,
Sometimes not even a face. It's like a weird avatar.
Yeah.
And their statement, right?
Right.
And you can't feel their vibes and their intent. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you
Right.
could say this. Two people could say the same thing in a room, and you can tell that one is a monster and evil,
Sure.
and one is cool and just trying to like figure it out or whatever.
Trying
But
to
then
be
when you
that, yeah.
type it, you can interpret it any way you want to, or any way that will suit. You know, a lot of people like to attack other people just because they want to look righteous and get the applause for it.
Yeah.
And it's a really like, I don't make a lot of, the internet's not where I make a lot of my grand statements.
No.
I don't make any grand statements.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions. I don't like when people write, you shouldn't have to ask that or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
with random, like, oh, is that okay? Is that
That's
not
my-
okay? And then
that's my
people are like,
biggest
you shouldn't have to
problem.
ask if it's not okay. It's like,
Yeah.
no, let them ask.
Or
They didn't
just,
know.
like, just the fact that you're not allowed to say I don't know anymore because
Yeah,
you can look
yeah.
up anything is like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, please, you're asking to like, please explain it to me. And instead that person is being like, oh, you didn't know that already? Like, you must be not woke, out of the loop or
Yeah.
whatever. It's
But
just
also
like,
because that rule that they're referring to, like, I don't know what a good example is. Like, you're not supposed to refer to blank as blank. It's like, well, but that's not no rule is a hard, other than like not physically harming someone, right?
Yeah.
Or like if your intent is good, there is no hard fast rule because like one person might not like the word cunt, or I don't know if that's a good example.
Yeah.
No,
and
that is.
someone else, or like someone might be like, it's very, chivalry is oppressive, and I don't want a guy to hold the door open for me. And I could be like, I don't know, I think it's kind of like charming, there's no hard fast rule for everyone, and I think the internet is trying to create hard fast rules, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't speak. I don't like it when people speak on my behalf.
Yeah. I mean, something I see sometimes that bothers me is like when one woman speaks against feminism, just like, oh, well, I don't feel that way. And a lot of people will be like, that's not true. And it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Feminism is built upon the concrete idea of believing all women.
Yeah.
And I'm now watching you not believe a woman
Yeah.
because her opinion is different from the mass.
Exactly.
And I think the same thing happens, and I just use that one because I think that one's the most prevalent right now, but across the board.
Yeah.
If you're just like, wait, hold on, though. I'm on the team. I just have a slight question about the play we're about to run.
Right.
I just want to know why we're all just agreeing that this has to be this way. Why can't we just stop and go? We don't want that. We're fighting against a thing by becoming the thing. Let's not do that. Let's not become oppressive to fight oppression.
Yeah.
The whole fight, because in reality, the whole fight fire with fire analogy or saying, does that really even work?
No.
Or does it
I don't
just
know. It might
spread?
get your laundry stuck in a place.
Yeah,
for a while.
exactly. There you go. Bring it all back. Nice.
Hypocrisy is like when you see, really kind PC people making fun of the appearance of other people.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I was taught when I was really young by a friend's mom that I shouldn't use the word ugly or hate. She was it was like something, I remember my friend and I were watching Swan's Crossings, for anyone who remembers the 90s. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, I do.
We were watching
I didn't
it,
watch it, but I remember.
and one of us was like, oh, I hate that girl. She's so ugly. We were talking about a character, and her mom was like, hate and ugly are such final, awful words.
Yeah.
You can say unattractive. You can say you don't like their but like, and I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but it stuck with me so hard.
That's a great lesson to learn that early on.
Yeah, and it just felt, because I'm like, someone can't, like, they just look the way they look, and to have that be your argument, and then the hypocrisy of like one of my biggest pet peeves is I'm trying to be better about where I buy my clothes.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge thing about ethical fashion, and I've been learning all about like sweatshop labor. And then so it's so funny to me when I see someone like wearing a feminist t-shirt, and I'm like, where did you get that? And if they're like Forever 21, I'm like, oh, one of the biggest like perpetrators of like underpaid like labor in third world countries. And I'm not shaming them because maybe they didn't know. I'm not like, fuck you. I'm just like, hey man, if you're gonna get on your high horse and yell about how you're perfect,
you shouldn't be able to be knocked down.
You should do a little research.
Make sure that horse wasn't tortured.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Which all horses were.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, same thing when I mean, something you're talking about, this was years ago now, or not that many, maybe a year and a half, when Steve Bannon got fired.
Oh,
You
yeah.
saw all these like memes on, and it was like just shitting on the way he looked and his appearance. I'm like, we're better than that, right? We're not just all gonna fucking launch a Steve Bannon's ugly.
Also, there's
this
so
guy
many
looks like
other
a
arguments
potato.
you can have
Like,
with
exactly.
Steve Bannon.
And it's like we're supposed to be the smart side.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be the
I mean,
smart
I
side. You're
find
supposed to
him
be
very unattractive because of his personality.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and his
I find-
politics and his fucking ideas. But
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna go after his rosacea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a
What's
literal
going
problem.
on? Like, come on, come on.
And Chicago roast culture is where I grew up, and I feel like you don't go the easy route with appearance.
Yeah,
The appearance is
Almost
just.
went one podcast without mentioning Chicago.
Oh, I can't do that. No, there's no way. I actually met her in Chicago. Yeah.
That's
And
what I
you.
started
I met you in
for.
Chicago too. Yeah.
we met in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Chicago, Julia?
Yeah, a lot. I've been there a lot.
I guarantee that when Will and I know you guys have a great relationship, but as he was running out of there with that bag of laundry, he wasn't thinking about you. He was thinking about the city of Chicago.
Of course. Of course.
How he could go home and tell all
absolutely,
of his people
yeah.
what he had done.
Absolutely. This is for
For his
Chicago.
partner.
Think about the Cubs, think about hot dogs. Yeah.
Just thinking about deep dish pizza.
Kanye.
Chris is gonna be so
Ronald
proud of
the
me.
rapper. Chevy Chase, right? He's from Chicago.
Chevy Chase, no way.
He's not from Chicago?
No, all of his characters were, but he's not.
Oh.
I think we should actually wrap it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There,
Wait,
What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
something about roast culture in Chicago.
roast-
Oh, yeah.
Chicago.
You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
go for the ease. Like,
Oh yeah, you definitely.
because you get that out in first grade, like you're fat, you're this, you're that. By high school, you should be roasting like a bunch of random
Emotionally.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like I
appearance
can't
is
even
so
imagine
easy.
sticking to
Wait,
Wait,
just
what were
the
you saying
easy
about
part.
outfits? You said something about
Yeah, you
outfits.
roast outfits, like because you can change outfits. You can't change how you look. Rosacea, you can't change.
Oh yeah, but the
So
way
it's like,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
way like you can change your haircut.
Right,
So if your
right.
haircut's fucked up, I can roast that. Not a woman
Yeah.
because it's a lot harder
Sure.
to change her haircut, but like a man's haircut, you can change that pretty easily.
Clark
Yeah.
Jones, our
Great
comedian
roaster.
friend
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Chicago. I
Yeah.
did one roast. I will never do another roast again. I'm too sensitive.
Yeah.
His out the gate, I wore a really cute outfit that I really liked. Out the gate, his first thing was about my outfit, and I was like, I'm never wearing this outfit again.
Yeah.
I was so devastated because I take a lot of pride in my style.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, not built for
Yeah.
roasts. And I
Yeah.
don't care.
I don't think most of us are. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
no.
I think we're all pretending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's fun amongst friends.
If your friends
Yeah,
like,
it's fun amongst friends because it's just like kind of like ball busting, ovary
Yep.
punching, you know.
and in
like,
school, it was never like. It's also probably indicative of that I didn't have internet in school when I went to school.
Yeah.
But like there was it wasn't leaving the lunchroom or like
Yeah.
outside of McDonald's on Jackson. It was like just it was gonna happen there, and then you're like, I'm gonna go home, and
It was
it's done.
friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's out there on the internet, cyberbullying, and the big roasts are like these people don't know each other until they walk into the room after they've
Yeah.
been like writing a ton of
And
jokes.
then they're roasted by the commenters.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Non-stop
It's
roasting.
nonstop. So yeah, I'd rather just go to a barbecue. You
Me
know?
too.
That's-
The next presidential election is just going to be a roast battle.
I would actually love that.
And I swear to God, it
That
would
would
not.
be-
I would. It's like you say that, and I'm like, but then in reality, it's like,
Yeah.
she's probably right.
The last one
Yeah.
kind of
You're
was actually.
probably
Yeah,
right.
kinda was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we should move away from that.
Yeah. Because she roasted him, he roasted her. That actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
All right, so let's get back to political
Oh
facts.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Go just because I think by the time this comes out, which I doubt he'll be okay by then, but Jason Signs, look it up. Go contribute to the man's Kickstarter.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's
Go
a-
That's a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, GoFundMe.
Jason Signs, GoFundMe. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. And we were talking earlier about people putting their recent injuries online.
Oh, yeah.
His was
His
fucked
was
up
for
and
real.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
cool. And he's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we go back.
And where can we find you guys online?
I'm
For
sure
shows and
you'll
things.
link. Well, my name.
Instagram, Twitter,
Twitter.
at Mr. Will Miles. Instagram, actually, the link in my Instagram bio is his GoFundMe.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So there you go.
Look
Go
at
to
you.
my bio.
Using
You can
your
donate.
notoriety.
Mr. Will
And then we have, and then our
Giulia
podcast
Rozzi.
is called Hopefully We Don't Break Up, and
Yeah,
you can
it's
find
great.
that wherever.
Yeah, we're on it.
Yeah.
They're on
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Episode something.
Let's say 23, but
23,
I
I
don't
no,
know.
like that. Good
I
number.
think it's later.
Yeah.
It's in the
53.
50s.
53?
Yeah,
I
let's
like
say
that number
53.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Both
All right.
prime numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm all
Yeah.
about prime
I'm
numbers.
into it.
The fact that you knew that quick, impressive, by the way.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Numerology.
And this is Caitlin,
Oh, hi.
and I'm Sean.
Yeah.
And that is Miss Roper. And here's the thing: this dog knows its name, like full, is looking directly at me,
Yeah.
not just because I made a bunch of sounds.
Yeah.
And that's Miss Roper. You can find her at.
Will Miles won't let me get. I don't know why I said your full name just now. Will won't let me make her an Instagram because he said that's exploiting her, and
Yeah.
you know it's probably best that I not have another Instagram to maintain.
It's true.
True.
That's true.
Well,
I'm thinking of
she's
you.
probably on both your Instagrams.
She's all,
Absolutely,
nope,
yeah.
not on Will's. She's all
Oh.
over mine.
There you go.
She's on my stories. She doesn't make it onto the page.
I you know what? That's
Yeah.
that's earned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Appreciate that.
You gotta
Yeah.
earn
Well, thank you for listening.
that. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.